Hello, my name is Lars Hoffman. I'm the Senior Vice President of Global Launch Services at Rocket Lab. I'm here at our Long Beach headquarters in California, and I am looking forward to sharing with you a little bit about Rocket Lab, the company, the kind of services that we provide, and as shown here on our title slide, how we offer frequent, reliable, and affordable access to space. Something that has been difficult for many of our customers over the years is finding a frequent and reliable and affordable ride to space. They typically will go on a ride share in a larger rocket. They may have to wait a long time. They may be sent to an orbit that's not ideal or may be prohibitively expensive. And what Rocket Lab is focused on is opening up access to space to improve life here on Earth. We do that using our Electron launch vehicle, which is right-sized for microsat and CubeSats. And we offer our Photon satellite bus as an option to provide best-in-class bus services for payloads that don't have a bus solution and can host on Photon and ride on Electron to space. So I'll go ahead and walk through all of these capabilities with you today. Now, Rocket Lab is more than just a rocket company. It's a full-service space systems company. And we've got a long heritage here, starting in 2006 by our CEO, shown here in the picture, Peter Beck. And it's been a long history of developing highly complex technology, starting with some of our sounding rockets that you can see on the wall behind Pete, and advancing into our orbital launch vehicle, Electron, and first introduced in 2013 and first launched in 2017, and now opening up even more access to space with Photon, our satellite bus, and our spacecraft solution. We are headquartered in Long Beach, California. We're a US company. We have a presence in New Zealand, where our Auckland production complex exists in Auckland, New Zealand. And we have a launch site in New Zealand, and we're opening up a launch site at Wallops Island, Virginia in the US. We've raised quite a bit of capital over the years from Tier 1 venture capitalists, $288 million to date. We are a company that's got a full book of business, launching at least monthly for the foreseeable future, with high demand coming in every day. So we are a company that is clearly out in front, a world leader in launch, but also opening up access to space through our other capabilities that we're bringing online. Our global production facilities, I'll show a little bit later. Our headquarters, I said, here in Long Beach, production complex in Auckland, New Zealand, but also we have engine test facilities in New Zealand, and we've got our launch complex in New Zealand and our launch complex in Wallops Island, Virginia, where we can do integration of the launch vehicle and the payload, and we can do other work in support of our launch services. We have 3 launch pads. I mentioned 2 launch complexes. Launch Complex 1 in New Zealand is actually adding a second launch pad. So we will have 2 launch pads at Launch Complex 1, 1 launch pad at Launch Complex 2 at Wallops Island, Virginia, 3 launch pads in total. And these launch complexes are privately owned and operated, FAA licensed for our launches and for the payloads, and also licensed through the New Zealand Space Agency. What this private operation allows is for us to control the launch schedule. We can launch our customers when they need to launch to get to orbit. Time is money with all of our customers, and being able to launch on their schedule is critically important to them, and that's what we deliver. So far, we've launched 12 times with 100% success and delivered 53 satellites to orbit to date. And our next launch is coming up very, very soon. So, what is Rocket Lab focused on? We're focused on our customers. It's your mission and your way is our tagline here. And really, it's all about designing a solution for your needs, to take you from idea to orbit, to be able to get your great ideas, your technology on orbit, whether it's a hosted payload, whether it's a CubeSat that we precisely insert into orbit, or a microsat that we put into orbit, maybe an exotic orbit for a longer duration. We want to deliver 100% mission success, and we're focused on that, focused on our customers every single day. We tailor our missions to our customers' needs. I mentioned earlier, schedule is critically important to our customers, so is their orbit, so is their ride to orbit. We offer the smoothest and quietest ride to orbit, very precise orbit insertion, on the second launch timing to give you the precision that you need to put your payload on orbit and deliver your capabilities as soon as possible. And I talked about earlier operating the 2 launch complexes. We do full end-to-end, again, from IDA to orbit, mission integration services, whether they're the payloads are integrated here at Long Beach or whether they're integrated at the launch site, or we can send our payload plate to our customers to integrate there. We offer them a custom solution for their needs. And we've streamlined the launch process. So the customers show up and they are able to go through the launch campaign with us day by day and know that their launch is going to happen on time and precisely. So our heritage, we show all 12 launches here from our first launch in May of 17 to our latest launch in June of 2020. 3 weeks from that June launch is our next launch here coming up on July 4th out of New Zealand, and a launch soon thereafter going out of New Zealand. And finally in August of this year, right around the time of this viewing, is a launch from our Wallops Island launch site, a mission for the Air Force called Monolith. Just a cross section of some of the satellites we've delivered orbit, from the smallest CubeSats, picosats even, all the way up to microsats, getting up to 200 kilograms or maybe even more. Satellites that are able to unfurl antennas, satellites that are able to do communications, Earth observation, you name it, we've been able to deliver it. And here's some of the customers that we have served over the last year and a half, 2 years. Some of the high-end customers that you're all familiar with from the US government: NASA, US Air Force, now US Space Force as our customer, DARPA, a National Reconnaissance Office. We just launched a mission with National Reconnaissance Office and NASA payloads on board, US Special Operations Command, and others. We're looking forward to delivering many more government launches and commercial launches. Our business right now is split about 50-50 between government launches and commercial launches. So it's a good balance in our business, a good diversity. And on the government side, mostly national security, but a growing demand and a growing launch manifest for civil customers. So how do we get our customers delivered to space with Electron, our launch vehicle? Now, Electron is unique in many ways and very special. It's an all-composite body. The body is laid up at our Auckland production complex. Some of the finest craftsmen in the world who have been laying up composite boat hulls for America's Cup boats for the US and New Zealand teams were recruited to come in and lay up a rocket body for us years ago, and they perfected it now so that we have rocket bodies being built at least once a month and now getting to twice a month pace. We print the engines. Yes, I said print the engines here in our Long Beach headquarters. We use additive manufacturing for all of our engines. The 9 Rutherford engines on the first stage and a single Rutherford vacuum optimized engine on the second stage. Those are printed here in Long Beach, California. All of our avionics is also manufactured in our Long Beach headquarters and then sent over to the Auckland production complex. So you see 2 stages here. The power pack at the bottom of this slide is our 9 engines and the batteries that support the Rutherford propulsion system. The pumps are electric, not gas generator cycle. They're electric, which allows us to design very small, compact, and very efficient pumps that are able to support both the liquid oxygen and the kerosene to the Rutherford engines. The Rutherford engines produce about 5,500 pounds of thrust each and produce plenty of thrust to deliver anywhere from 150 kilograms to 500 kilometers to an SSO orbit, or over 225 kilograms to a lower inclination orbit or to lower altitudes. Finally, let me move up beyond the second stage to the kick stage. What you see there at the top is our kick stage that traditionally has been used to circularize our orbit and precisely insert payloads into orbit. We have evolved that kick stage into a full-fledged satellite bus called Photon. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then finally, our composite 2-piece fairing that offers plenty of volume for our customers, about a meter, 1.2 meters in diameter, and about 2.5 meters volume in the vertical there. We've been able to manifest as many as 13 CubeSat payloads on a single launch, or a mix of microsats and CubeSats, or a single large microsat, so we can do it all. I mentioned Photon. Photon is really more than just a single satellite bus. It really is a complete spacecraft program where we can design and customize the Photon spacecraft to meet your needs, whether it's delivering a hosted payload into low Earth orbit for any duration up to 5 years, or going beyond low Earth orbit to other Earth orbits, to cislunar, or even beyond, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. So Photon, pictured here in our factory, is a way for us to take our customers from idea and their technology, their payload, to offer them the bus solution and the launch solution. We also offer ground segment solutions, so we can do end-to-end and package up a custom-built mission for our customers. The thing that makes this really unique and exciting is that you can do it all with one company, with Rocket Lab. This is ideal for doing technology demonstrations, or in this case for NASA, delivering a microsat to lunar orbit. Our capstone mission is launching next spring of 2021, from our Wallops Island launch facility to deliver a CubeSat for NASA to lunar orbit. We're very excited about that. Now, the performance that can deliver CubeSat to lunar orbit is also able to deliver payloads beyond lunar orbit to other destinations, whether it be Mars or Venus or other interplanetary destinations. So Photon is capable of supporting all of those missions. So our global infrastructure, I've touched on this a little bit, but here's just a picture of the world showing where all of our sites are. Our headquarters here in Long Beach, California, our launch complex on the East Coast at Wallops Island, Virginia. In New Zealand, we have our Auckland Production Complex, our Propulsion Test Complex, and our Launch Complex 1. I want to go into a little bit more detail on our launch complexes right now. This is Launch Complex 1 in Mahia, New Zealand. It's on a peninsula. It's ideally situated. We searched around the world and found that this was the best spot to put our first launch pad in our first launch complex. Very remote. There's virtually no air traffic, one flight per week that we have to deconflict, virtually no boat traffic to worry about. There's just a lot of sheep that like to graze in the field. We keep them out with the fences, and they've gotten used to us launching rockets, so they're really not much of a problem anymore, and we're not disturbing them. So this has turned out to be an ideal launch location for all of our first 12 launches. We have on site the ability to manifest payloads and encapsulate payloads in 2 payload processing rooms with customer rooms set off right next to them, so the customer is involved from end to end, from beginning to end. We also can assemble and integrate the payloads to the launch vehicle in our integration facility right there, Launch Complex 1, and then roll it straight out to the launch site. We are a private launch site, which gives us full control over the schedule. We're FAA licensed and also New Zealand Space Agency licensed. We are approved up to 120 launches per year, which allows us the flexibility to launch whenever our customers need it, or how often, or how frequently they need it. Building that second pad is going to give us new flexibility to launch, not within weeks, but within days, or perhaps within hours in the future as demand dictates. This location is ideally situated to give us a wide range of azimuths that we can launch into, and orbital inclinations from 39 degrees to sun synchronous, polar, or up to 120 degrees. I mentioned our clean rooms there, class 100,000 clean rooms. Our second launch pad is being constructed now. It's further along than you see in this picture, and it should be complete by the end of this year, and it will be operational in 2021. We recently were awarded 2 missions from the National Reconnaissance Office to launch back-to-back in the spring of 2021, and our plan is to launch one from Launch Pad 1, Launch Complex Pad 1B, and one from Launch Complex 1 Pad A. That's coming up here in the spring of 2021. Launch Complex 2 at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport at Wallops Island, Virginia. You can see it there just to the right of the water tower. We completed that in record time, driving the first pilings in February of 2019 and completing the launch site by December of 2019, activating it in March of 2020, and launching from there this summer for the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Space Force Monolith mission. This site is tailor-made for U.S. government missions. It offers secure payload processing facilities. It offers secure communications facilities in a SCIF. It offers very close proximity, about 3 hours drive from Washington, D.C. in the National Capital Region. So it's ideally suited for U.S. government missions, whether they be national security or civil. We can hit inclinations from 37 to 60 degrees. We've got a similar setup with our integration and control facility, where we can process 2 rockets and 2 payloads in parallel. So if we have back-to-back launches, we can launch them very, very soon after each other. And once we get the payloads on orbit, in most cases, we're handing off to our customers once the payload is precisely delivered to orbit and it's gone through its initial checkout procedures. But we've built a full-featured mission control both in Auckland and at our Long Beach facility to be able to control payloads on orbit. This is the next evolution for Rocket Lab, is to be able to fly our customers' payloads on orbit, or perhaps fly our own payloads on orbit in the near future. So our mission control controls not only the launch, but also the on-orbit operations. So just to kind of tie it all up and bring it all back together, streamlined access to space, frequent, reliable, affordable. We can take you from idea to orbit, whether it's a bus solution using our Photon satellite bus and spacecraft, a launch solution, a package deal, or if you want to use our ground networks and our partnership with KSAT, the largest commercial ground segment in the world, we can package all of that together. And then of course our 2 launch sites offering 130 launch opportunities per year. Rocket Lab is here to deliver to our customers that access to space that they have been asking for and needing for many years. Frequent, reliable, affordable, you got it. And I appreciate your time and your attention. And we welcome your follow-up on our website, rocketlab.com, or if you'd like to reach out to us directly or at a future conference when we're there in person. Again, my name is Lars Hoffman, Senior Vice President, Global Launch Services at Rocket Lab. Thank you again, and have a great day.